Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about, do you know how to blow bubbles with bubble gum?
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about and asking you the question, do you know how to blow bubbles with bubble gum? What? Listen, I don't know jack about parenting, as I always say, but what I do know is kids have this amazing imagination, and the simplest of things in life bring them joy. My son's not much of a gum chewer. Right now in this podcast, I'm probably chewing the first piece of gum that I've chewed this month, let's say. I occasionally have gum in the car, but it's rare. It's not something, I'm not a gum chewer. But I have bubble gum that is designed for bubbles, right? It's called bubble gum. It's not just gum, it's bubble gum. It's that pink stuff, that gooey stuff, the stuff that comes in a little wrapper. And the reason I have it is because my son is fascinated with trying to learn how to blow bubbles with gum. Why? I don't know. He's seen somebody else do it. Maybe he's seen me do it. But he thinks it's cool to try and learn. And at this point, he just wants to learn how to blow bubbles. So he just asked me, he says, "Dad, can I have a piece of gum?" I was like, "Yeah, you can have a piece of gum." I go, "I think I'm going to have one." And as a matter of fact, I was about to record a podcast. So why not talk about the joy of blowing bubbles? So he hasn't figured out that you have to flatten the bubble gum. And then you have to stick your tongue in there just enough to create a pocket. And then blow into it perfectly. While all at the same time, there's a technique, right? You can't push your tongue in too far. You can't flatten it too much. There's like an art to the bubble creation in bubble gum. It's got to be the dumbest podcast I've ever made. But when I think about it, I think back to the time when I first blew bubbles. My wife always says this about me, and maybe that's why I'm capable of relating to children, or just thinking, hey, what is it? I'm able to go back to those moments in time for myself, and I remember trying to blow bubbles at the age of 5. Also, when I had nothing else better to do at the age of 5, I didn't have video games. We didn't have, I had video games, I just didn't play them. I was always outside, but I had a lot of time to think. I wasn't always preoccupied with doing, as I feel sometimes my son is I had time to put my lips together and try to whistle. Now, I'm not the best whistler in the world, right? I get it, because once I learned how to do it, I was like, I don't really need this for anything. I'm not that guy that can stick his fingers in his mouth and let that thing rip where you could hear it across a football field, or in a football stadium, or in a baseball stadium for that matter. I'm not that guy. But around the same time I learned how to whistle is the same time I learned how to blow bubbles, which is around the same time I learned how to tie my shoes, which is probably around the same time I learned how to ride a bike, which it's that age for me anyway. 5 years old was, I learned how to do all these things. And I just remember being very, very curious and having the patience to learn how to do these things. A thought that comes to mind right now, I remember my mom, one of my earliest memories around that age is my mom asked me if I wanted to bake brownies that day. And I always loved brownies, and like any kid, I like cookies, but I especially love fruit. And when she asked me, "Hey Ryan, do you want to bake brownies tonight?" And this is a weird correlation, but it's the way the child's mind works. And if we could tap into a child's mind, we could understand them better. If we could understand them better, we could relate. If we could relate, we could teach and empower. And I said, "Will you bake brownies? You like put brownies in the oven?" And she's like, "Yeah, where did you think they came from?" My mom was always great at asking questions. And I think my logic at the time was, well, brownies are sweet. and fruit is sweet, and fruit grows on a plant or a tree. So I guess brownies grow on trees. Bah, I was wrong. But that's the mind of a child. So whether it's blowing bubbles or learning the whistle or doing any of these fun things, empower your kids. Like I literally, in my mind, my wife, I bought a big, huge bag, by the way, at the grocery store. It's probably got 100 pieces of bubble gum in it in the candy aisle. It was like $3. And my wife was like, why did you buy all that candy or all that gum? I said, he needs to practice. Practice what? Rotting his teeth? I was like, he's not going to rot his teeth. My boy never had gum in his whole life. He saw somebody wants to blow a bubble. I want him to learn and enjoy learning how to blow a bubble. And we're going to sit on the back porch or in the house and we're going to do this together. And she goes, you don't chew gum? I said, I will for my son. I will so that we can bond. I want to empower him to do the things that he wants to do, as simple as blowing a bubble. So don't negate the small things. Everybody wants their kids to walk, talk, go off to college. But it's the simple joys of spending a time on the back porch when your dad or mom bought you a big bag of bubble gum and said, let's figure this out together. And you laugh and you spit it out and it comes out and the bubble goes on your nose and it's all stuck. Enjoy the moments in life that are really important. And it may seem insignificant, but going down to your child's level and living in their world, and the most important thing that day is learning how to blow a bubble, join them in that adventure and allow it to play out. I don't know jack about parenting, but it sounds like the makings for some fun. On that note, I'm not going to do a full podcast about this. But one of the things I haven't done ever as an adult is pop popcorn. And that's something on our list to do this week. I'm not talking microwavable popcorn. I'm not talking movie. I'm talking at home, on the stove, oil, butter, kernels, pop it a pop, pop, pop. Enjoy the little things. We'll talk to you in the next episode.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.